to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Atlanta, Georgia. This is United Fan Zone with Sean Gregg and Mikey Douglas.
Welcome, everybody. We have a special guest today. Unfortunately, Mikey couldn't be here, but welcome, everyone, and welcome, Q. Thanks for stepping in. How you doing, man?
Doing well, Sean. Thanks for having me on. Mikey, we'll miss you tonight, but there'll be plenty of shows ahead, so happy to step in.
Absolutely. I just wanted to get kind of like touch point here, jump into it, and obviously we're seeing some news today with Sander Berge possibly coming in, being left out of the Burnley team tonight. Just wanted to grab your thoughts on whether he's going to be right fit for Man United. I know he's 26. Burnley went down last season, but just kind of some of your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him left out of the squad tonight. That could be, and it sounds like rumors are leaning towards Man United. It does sound like that could be a possible situation for Scott McTominay being out. When we look at the CDM positions for United right now, we got Kobe Mainoo kicking ass, and then we have Casemiro, who is aging. Great leader, obviously, has a lot of experience and history and high pressure situations, but his time has come, I think. So I really think we are in desperate need of someone to fill in that CDM role. Mm-hmm. Is it Sander Berge? Time would obviously tell. I don't know the answer to that question. What are your thoughts on that?
So just from what I did some quick research on him tonight. Being 6'5", watched a couple of highlight videos. I remember him playing against Man United last year. He looks very big, very physical, able to have that role. I'm not too 100%, on the stats just yet with it. We'll definitely dive more into that, on our Thursday video. But, I kind of like it getting someone, from it, obviously we can't get the guy deal over the line right now. And possibly later in the window, we may be able to get him in on loan. But I think he's a good backup, especially he's got the legs, so he might be able to start for the first 70 minutes and then have, say, Casemiro come in and be able to take over for the last 20 minutes, or even vice versa. But from what I've seen so far, he's definitely got the legs and he can shoot too. He's got some solid goals in him, and he's definitely going to. I like what United are doing. I don't know if with Noussair, with Matthijs to Ligt. We've got some really good tall players now.
Height,
and that height, especially from those corners, because we've been atrocious from crosses, from anything that's a set piece, and we've got a lot of height now. So
Harry Maguire's been our best finisher from corner.
Yeah, and he's only scored the one goal, so. It's a little more difficult with that. So
I'm glad
I like it.
The height. The height is a big thing because I think Mainoo, as amazing as he is, and amazing aerially too. He still doesn't have that height. Like that. Mm-hmm. Someone that's just very obvious. Like even if they're just going to get their head in the way, they might just win that aerial ball. You know what I mean? So. And Casemiro, same way. He's not the tallest, and the age affects his aerial ability as well. So, just like you're saying, building up that height through the middle, mm-hmm. like with Euro, like at the center back position, building that up through the midfield, just having that, and then Højlund too. Up top, he's not a short guy at all. So,
absolutely,
it should be nice to see what we can do aerially with some more height. Yep.
Yeah, and I do apologize for people right now. For some reason, our live chat isn't working. So if you keep seeing me looking this way, it's because I'm trying to work on it right now. So I'm trying to get it up and running. But yeah, I'm excited. We're doing different things, and clearly, they've done some research on him. We've obviously gone into this window with a plan of able to, if we can't get our first one, we can't get our second one. Let's definitely go after the third choice. It seems like this guy might be a third choice, but they've definitely done their work on him, so they definitely feel like he can fit Ten Hag's system. I'm trusting in the process right now. Why wouldn't I trust in the process? We got De Ligt in, Mazraoui, we got Zertsky in, so I'm trusting the process right now. And when Lenny Euro comes back, this is going to be a formidable defense. So I'm really excited about this. I'm more excited about the fact that De Ligt and Mazraoui have worked under Ten Hag before, so they have that ability to kind of press forward, and they're going to come right into the team. So I'm excited to see them Friday. With Harry Maguire's possibly out. And quite a few people are going to be out on Friday, so I do see at least Ligt coming into the team Friday.
Yeah, you put a good phrase out there. We've been putting in the work in the transfer window for sure, and that's where you have to put your trust, and we're finally back to doing what seems like good business. I know we haven't seen the results of that business yet, but fair to say we like what we're paying and like who we're signing. So in that scenario, I'm kind of putting my trust into the administration, and just excited for the season and see what these new players can bring.
Yeah, and especially with the fact that this guy's going to cost what, 20 million, 22, maybe 25 million. He's playing in in the championship with Burnley, so he's not going to be overpriced. So we definitely got a good solid backup there. And I'm actually really excited to see how it works out, because to be fair, we can't just go through the season with Casemiro playing in that number 6 role, because it's just not going to work out. And if this is somebody that we can come in and take the reins for a while, I think it'll be a good fit for us.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Let's see where it goes.
So I know I was in England this weekend, and we didn't get to watch the game for the first time in a long time together. But I managed to watch it in England. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, so it was nice to get back into our local pub, Bulldog, as all Pittsburghers know, us Yenzers know. But it was good to see everybody back. It wasn't the same turnout as it was for regular season matches, maybe to be anticipated. But just to reiterate, anybody watching, we need all of you local Reds at Bulldog for every match. We will be there every match. Don't ever feel like, even if it's midweek, if we're going to be there, we will be there. So yeah, I mean, but again, the vibes were still there. Everybody was there with like, we can't wait for next season. And yeah, the vibes were all there. So talk about the actual game. I thought that we actually, it was nice to see us control a game against City, despite it being a charity shield, right? It was still like nice to see us be able to control somewhat of the game and I don't know, look like a threat, I thought, at a decent amount of times, especially throughout. Like, I thought the wings looked pretty good. Did you get to watch the game at all?
I did, yeah. I went to the pub with a couple of my friends in England, and I watched it. But just an announcement: live chat is available. Everybody, I've managed to fix it. So please jump in with your comments, even if it's on Sanderberg. I know we just went on that topic. Please give us whatever you feel like is going to be a breakdown.
Yeah. So I thought, I thought, what were your thoughts on the match? Did you get to look too much at the tactics?
So I got to watch, some of the tactics. I thought that we played really well. I know City were missing some of their players, and we had majority of our starters out. But I think we deserve to win the game. Overall, I'm ruining those missed chances. There's 2 sitters from, one basic sitter from Rashford. The other one, he should have done better. But just the positives, being able to keep it with City there. Great goal from Garnacho coming in off the bench. I think Rashford's got some serious working to do, because I think he's in real problems of losing his place to Garnacho right now. Because obviously, you're not going to put him on the right now, because he's playing so well. But Casey Gale saying Sancho disappoints once again. Yes, same end as the Euro final, in the same spot as the Euro final. Puts the penalty. So.
Well, you brought up Rashford, Sean. What do you think? We've had a nice roller coaster of seasons with Rashford, and last season was definitely one of the lower points. Do you think Rashford will pop off this season? I mean, he's in the right position, but he's, like you said, he's missing those sitters and stuff like that. Like, can he get the finishing together?
I think if he can score a couple of goals in a row, I think yes. I think there's a little bit of an echo on your end as well, whether it's mine. But yes, I think he can possibly get off. But he's very, very slowly, and I don't mean as close yet, becoming a very Dele Alli style of player, where he started off really well, and he's, if he doesn't play well this season, I don't think many people are going to want to, pick him up. But got a couple of comments. Rajat, you said no, don't want him. I'm assuming you are talking about Berg. Sanjeev, obviously, Palestri at right back was very weird to end the game. It was, and it ended up costing us the game, to be honest, because he fell asleep at the back post and ended up costing us the game. Casey Gale, I'm still not ready to give up on. I'm not ready to give up on Rashford.
Yeah, just to reiterate, but I do agree with Sean. I think this is a pretty telling season. Whatever happens this season might dictate a strong portion of Rashford's future.
It's going to, and if he doesn't play well, I'm not sure. I think United have got a big decision to make, because they're not going to get, if he doesn't play well this year, they're not going to get the 70 million for him that for next year. Probably going to get 50, 60 for him. I think he still could do a solid job, and honestly, I think it's time for him to move on. To be honest with you, I'm not ready to give up, but I think a change of leagues is going to be good for him. I think it's time for him and Sancho to go, because Sancho was just absolute missing in the Charity Shield, and then to go ahead and put he wasn't lucky with the penalty, to be honest. The goalie saved it rolled across the goal line. It could have bounced back and gone in. But again, he was non-existent in the game. I didn't really see him. And I was disappointed, honestly, to see Noussair coming on, even if it was for the last 10 minutes just to get some match fitness. I was extremely disappointed to see Noussair not coming on, because I think he could have caused a threat to that Man City backline.
Surely, yeah, and just excited to see him in general. So,
yeah,
maybe we'll see Friday.
Yeah, I think he starts Friday. I think the Ligt will start Friday. I don't think they have a choice other than to throw him in. But I think it'll be a comfortable win on Friday. I think Fulham have got some good players, but they're still gelling together. But I think United will start off with a 2-0 victory on Friday. What do you think?
Oh, 2-0 would be lovely. I just have a feeling it'll be just one of those nail biters, kind of 0-0, missing some chances, very obvious ones from both sides, and we'll see something scrappy end it. I would love to see us come out the gate and score a bunch of goals, but I just kind of foresee something like a 1-0 or something.
Yeah, and I think we'll do well. There was Casey saying, I thought we did show enough that we can beat Fulham. Absolutely. I think we've shown enough. And one of my exciting points for this year is just getting rid of that back line that we've had for so long. I don't ever want to see Maguire and Lindelof as our back two pairing ever again in my life. Like, it's just like we've gone so well with signing these new defenders that, and Mazraoui being, so versatile, can play off the left. He played off the left for Bayern a few times. With Shaw probably being injured, and the other guy, I don't think he's kicked a ball in the last 2 years. So we're definitely going to need him playing off the left. But it's all going to be down to whether everyone can stay fit. We've seen it already at the start of the season already, haven't we? Like how unfit some of these players are.
Yeah. Sanjeev says, can't wait for more risky Onana.
Yeah, did you see the comment the other day? He came out and said that he's going to start being more risky this season.
I did see that, and my heart rate is not ready. But
as long as we got the people in front.
I mean, he's always been that way. We saw him at Holland during the PKs at the Community Shield, doing that. It's like he's always playing that cocky, kind of risky style of play, and that's fine. That's well and fine, but we need goals to back that up, because he's very obvious he's going to let some in. So we need to be offensive too to make that system work. And that was a huge piece of what we were missing last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously he's going to let some in, but I did see some stats today that, Onana had faced the most shots last season, but had the highest save percentage in the Premier League, which is incredible. And so for me, I'm not too worried about him making too many risky moves if he's got people in front of him that can back him up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's how I feel about it too. As long as it seems like we're going to have, like you said, a more solid back four. So that's step one. And then step two then is, what we can do to get more service to Højlund, to Xerxes, get our wingers back scoring goals again, what we can do offensively.
Yeah. Just some of the comments. You got Jeeves with, yeah, man, probably come in when Shaw gets injured eventually and Delo to left back like last season. Yeah, Mazraoui can play. Like I said, Mazraoui can play left back too. He played there for Bayern. I would honestly stick leave Delo on the right and put Mazraoui on the left. But that is definitely somewhere that we've got to work on. I think that's going to come in January or next summer. I think we're going to go for probably a big name striker and a left back next summer. I can see the rest of the clear out also happening next year. Casey, Nederstrucks in front of Anana will be mint. He isn't shit. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say there. Manchester Mikey, top lads, miss y'all tonight.
Better structure. So just
better structure.
Top four.
Gotcha. Casey has a tendency to be typing like shit. So one of the things
no, he is not shit. He has everything we need in a keeper. It's just about building that foundation and wall in front of him that can play out the back like he does well and all that. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to get top four this year. I honestly do, especially with the back line with the Ligt coming in. We miss you too, Mikey.
Yeah, for sure, Mikey.
We'll be here on Thursday, bud. But one of the other good things is I know me and Mikey. With me being in England last week, I'm still working on the video. The interviews for the South Carolina game that will be out this week, I promise. I know there's a lot of people that me and you had a great time down there, man, interviewing the people. You got to interview some people, I got to interview some people, and a really good atmosphere. I do remember at one point we had a couple of kids lining up to do interviews with us. It was really good. It was a small channel.
Really cool to see that in South Carolina of all places, all of us meeting together. It was very special.
And then I don't know how Jeeves did it, Jeeves, but Jeeves managed to get into the game for free and go down next to the field and talk to Harry Maguire. Don't know how he did it, but he managed to do it.
Back to Friday. I think any other thoughts on Friday? I don't know. I think
honestly, I'm just excited.
It's going to be tense, first game of the season. And, if we give up something silly early, how do we capitalize on that? You mentioned top four. I think it all, for me, comes back to how are we going to put goals away this year? Yeah, we have a better top four, so we should hopefully concede less. But still, I want to score more than we did last year. There were a couple games where I just didn't feel comfortable enough. Several games where I did not feel comfortable enough in our offensive structure and strategy that we could pull out a win in certain games. So
for me, I think it comes down to the 6. We sat there during the game against Liverpool.
We had no midfield.
There was no midfield. They were running ragged through our midfield.
Yep.
And obviously Mainu wasn't there, Bruno wasn't there. And they just ran through our midfield. And I honestly believe if we can get a good number 6 that can help control that midfield, and if De Ligt can stay healthy, and when Euro comes back, obviously someone's got to drop out. Yeah. I am really just put Martinez as a 6. I think it would work fantastically. Martinez as a 6.
There's been rumor of him playing that role, like Ten Hag utilizing him in that role. So
yeah, I think he would be great as a 6. I really do, especially with De Ligt and Lenioro behind him.
We just need a commanding presence
We do, and I think the season kind of rests on it because as good as our backline can be right now, if they have control of the midfield, how are we supposed to get forward going with the goals? And I think with this new defense, I think we're going to sit on the halfway a lot more. Because Matthijs de Ligt is, and both him and the Butcher are both used to playing the Ten Hag way, which is one of the things I'm looking forward to the Ligt coming in for is those both know how to play.
They know the system.
They know the system, so they know to play on the halfway line. We have great wing fullbacks to get back, when Shaw stays healthy. And I kind of. And Delo, yeah, and they're both Delit's pacey enough. He's not, I'd give him a 7 out of 10 in his pace, but he's pacey enough to get back, and we know Lenny Yoro's pacey enough to get back. I would give him about a 7 also, but it's definitely something I'm looking forward to, playing that halfway line, which is then going to allow everybody else to move forwards, which hopefully is going to create a lot more chances and goals this season.
Yes, agreed. And I think with the injury crisis last season, it was like trying to, fit players into the system was like fitting square peg into a round hole type of scenario. It's like, you were forcing these players to learn this system very fast, and that system takes a lot of time to perfect. So like you're saying, players that already know the system, it is already like you're taking like away the training, if you will, of the job. Like you're just moving right into the work. So
and then Rajat says goals will come out of Bruno as a fake 9. I do like Bruno as the false 9 there.
We've tried it a few times, right? I mean, in dire circumstances.
Yeah, didn't we play the false 9 in the FA Cup final? Was it a false 9? I believe it was. He played a false 9 in the FA Cup final because he was our striker. If I remember correctly.
We were all over the place in the FA Cup final.
Yeah,
position wise, but no. So I mean, it can work. Bruno for me is just he's a workhorse at any position. So for me, he's just going to out effort anybody wherever he's at. Whether he can do that skillfully is a different story, but I think obviously he's best at chance creation, but outside of that, I just love him as being a workhorse. So really, I could put Bruno anywhere and expect him to deliver. To be honest.
And what do you think of him signing? Not signing, but extending his contract.
Oh yeah, till what we got till 2027, right? And then an option for an additional. I think that's fantastic because he's clearly proven himself at United and proven his value. So he could go elsewhere for more money. And I think this decision to stay here was a decision made for United, that he likes playing for United and that he wants to stay here. So to me, he's my captain all day. Let's go.
Absolutely. One of the things I kind of really liked about the deal also, the Man United, if you kind of look at it, they didn't want, he's probably one of our oldest players, right? I think he's 28, 29. Is he?
Yeah,
so he's getting up there, and United didn't want to give him that 5-year contract. So
like 32 or something.
Kind of like what we did against Casemiro. We gave Casemiro a 5-year contract at the age of 29 years age, and we're struggling to get rid of him. I like what we did there and gave him that, extended contract instead of a brand new one, which is definitely going to be, if we start to see some drop off on him, we could, make possibly some money from him.
I like that +1. It's just back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like we're finally doing good business again. So I'm not like reading headlines that like spike my heart rate. It's like, all right, no, this is makes logical sense for one.
Yeah, and that's definitely kind of the next talking point that I kind of have. Who do you want to see next? Who, if obviously, if Sander Berge, if that's not the guy you guys want, who do you want to see next? I know everyone's hung up on Ugarte, but at the moment, I'm not seeing that we're going to get Ugarte without getting rid of either Casemiro or McTominay.
Yeah, and to be honest, my main positions that I would like to see have more support around are are the fullbacks, I think, right now. Like you said, there's like we have like Delo can do it. We have players that are capable, Shaw being another one, but again, like an injury prone dude. So it's like I think with Ten Hag's system, what I've seen at least last year of the bare bit of tactics we did see is he's clearly trying to still play those inverted wing backs. He's trying to send Wan-Bissaka way deep and try to do these fancy things near the line to cross in, sending Delo actually does it well. Delo just needs to hone in on his crosses, I think. But to perfect the Ten Hag system, I think, the fullbacks would be my areas of most improvement.
Yeah. Rajat says, do not get the Delo hate too much. I'm actually not a Delo hater. He was, player of the season for Man United.
Another engine never gets injured.
Yeah.
Like he's just a workhorse. Like
his
Portuguese
defense.
are so different, man.
They are, man, absolutely. And I think that his defense was massively improved last year. Managed to get back and block in a lot of chances. I'm kind of, I know a lot of people are like with the Wan-Bissaka thing, but I'm kind of glad that he's gone. I know Mazraoui is, a million times better at least crossing the ball in. This is a thing United have got to get better at this year, especially with the height of some of these players, is having that ability to get the ball in and get some, get some of those headers. Ligt is great on his header. I know Sanderberg is really good with his head. He's actually really good with his shot from some of the videos that I've seen. So, crossing is definitely something that we've got to see this year. And as good as Garnacho is, we need to start seeing that from him this year also.
Better crossing.
Garnacho needs to start, he's still young. So, he wants to score goals.
He's a bit of a ball hog still. But we did see glimpses of him passing really well last season.
Yeah.
Look at him not taking the glory and passing off to Ahmad in the Liverpool, the 120+1. Like, we've seen it. He has it, but he's goal hungry, and you can't blame the kid. Like you said, he's young. He's a hot shot, but yeah, it's funny. You'll look at the sport books and it's like Garnacho plus shots. It's like -500. Like you guarantee he's going to spray too. But yeah, I'd like to see him pass a little bit more. And again, more service to the strikers.
Yeah. And that's kind of, where I'm seeing something I would like to see coming in this year. One thing that, Amas, on the left-hand side there, a left back, being left out of, midweek, again, in the Charity Shield, Community Shield, being left out. Me and you saw it right in front of us, especially for the Liverpool third goal in the preseason. I don't think he's ready yet. I think he's going to be a quality player. But I did see him get turned pretty badly in a couple of those spots. So I'm not sure that he's ready. So I would, use him in the Carabao Cup games, maybe early FA Cup rounds, just to get some experience. But we are gonna lack that this year, and it is a worry, especially if Luke Shaw isn't going to play a whole season like we know he's not going to.
Right.
And Malacia can't seem to stay healthy. So, I'm absolutely, but who I can't see us signing anyone unless, Harry Maguire probably leaves. So that's definitely something I want to see. I want to see either Big H or Lindelof go, so we can possibly spend that money on a new left back. Because Mazraoui also has a tendency to be injured. I don't know if that's, going to change at Man United, but, last season he was, pretty injury prone.
Knowing our history with our medical team, it'll get worse here. So
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this medical team. We got Sergio, Brailsworth, who is head of sports in some of the biggest things in the world, and for some reason we can't seem to get it right over at Man United. Me and Mikey were talking about this last week. Thinking that it's possibly Ten Hag overworking his players. What do you think?
Oh yeah, great question. I know Ten Hag expects a lot out of them, because I remember a specific example when it was the third match under Ten Hag, and I think it was after Brentford, he was like, "Hey, you got outran by Brentford, whatever." So then the next practice, he made every single player do like distance running, and he
Yeah.
said, "No matter what, you're going to cover more of the field than any other team."
That was my first game with you, remember?
Yeah, there you go. So to me, I was like that. Building up like that level of endurance is, it's rigorous. It's going to be a rigorous training regiment for that. So. Yeah, the players, and especially when we were implementing that, we were also in Champions League then too, and we were playing 3 times a week. So that coupled with the injury crisis and expecting more out of the players in training, expecting more out of fewer players, I could just see that being a burnout. But again, I guess I have to admire Ten Hag and his resilience for playing his style and expecting like that high endurance athlete, because Manchester United's best in the world. So hold to high standards.
I think the injury situation is going to, get better over time. I think with Ten Hag not worrying about, I saw a great quote the other day that Ten Hag was worrying about signing players, running the players, and also fixing a leaky roof. But now, trying to do that all at the same time.
Right.
I think it's going to get better. Especially with the backroom staff fully in place now, that they can take that off of his hands and he can focus on just the game. I think this year it'll get better. But Sanjeev says you would still think the medical staff would have a say in training intensity and recovery. Maybe the Hag makes them wrestle. Maybe.
Yeah. Behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Sesh. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. I mean, definitely medical staff should have every single say, and they should realistically, they should do a pre and post scan of like every player. I mean, for every.
Well, you're the fitness guy, so you know more a little bit more about me.
Silly if someone were to be like, "Hey, this is bothering me," and they say medical staff says, "Oh, you're fine, play through it." No, like that's yeah. So I don't know. The injury crisis last season was astonishing to me. I mean, I thought that was. I don't know. You have history over me on sports, so like, have you seen anything like that in?
Yeah, so definitely with the Luke Shaw situation when he came out during the Euros and said that he was forced to play and he wish he hadn't, because it ended up costing him half of the Euros. But
I just mean as a season in general, like season-long injury crisis. Have you ever witnessed that as a Man United?
No, I've never seen what we had last year. That's the first time. Now, but then again, Newcastle also had it last year. Not as many as Man United, but they did have it last year. Also, Rajat says, when are Man United going to hire a new medical team? I think they're in the process of doing that. You don't want, And honestly, there's something going on in the back. I don't 100% blame it on the medical staff. Last year was it Ten Hag being forcing the players to play through injury? Was it the Ten Hag? But we also remember last year we're coming off the back of a World Cup, that was in November, coming off the back of a year that was extraordinary for everybody. So I'm not sure. I know a lot of other teams didn't have as many injuries as we did, but something's just not right when it comes to the Man United backroom, and that definitely needs to be fixed. Whether it's the medical staff or Ten Hag being forced. But one of the great things that I'm, obviously with the signings this year is we've got a lot more depth this year. So unfortunately, Lenny Euro, that wasn't down to the medical team. It was a broken metatarsal, the same as what Martinez had. So we can't blame that on the medical team.
And it's not solely the medical team. It's also bad fucking luck, man.
It is.
It's like
it's bad luck.
But I seriously do just hope, like you said, that we can maintain that depth this year, at least a little bit more than last year, because we hated the result of the final table last year, but we were able still to manage to do great things like winning the Cup. even with a decimated squad. So let's see what we can do with a little bit more depth, a little bit more backing under Ten Hag, better business.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Yeah. And the reports coming out that, United are not, I know Fabrizio said United are not done yet. So he said at least 2 to 3 more players. So I can honestly see, Berg coming in as a backup CDM, and then Ugarte possibly coming in. If we can't buy him, I think we might get him on that year loan towards the end of the season. Yeah. But for the first time in a long time, I'm actually excited about seeing transfer deadline day, because I know from when I was a kid and growing up, transfer deadline day was so important. It was just so much fun. Like, I remember one year, I can't remember which team it was. A player drove all the way to the stadium to have his medical, and he ended up didn't signing. So I'm hoping that United, we can have a good one of those.
I remember when this was must have been like a year and a half ago or something. So the end of the January transfer window, maybe last year, when we signed Sabitzer, like in the final 2 minutes of the window. I remember texting you. I was at the gym on the treadmill, and I was like, we got Sabitzer, and it was like 2 minutes before the final.
I like that. It's fun.
No, it is. It's very high energy, exciting stuff. It's like you said, feels like a little kid again Christmas. And
like Manchester Mikey saying that that's a lot of players for us. We haven't done business like this in years. Well, we haven't done business like this since Berge left, to be honest with you.
Really,
and it's so nice to see that it's a well thought out kind of transfer plan too.
It's not just throwing money at something,
Yeah, and I know everyone keeps
the right amount of money at something.
Yeah, right. Like, what was it? £39 million, 45 million euros for De Ligt, I think, is a steal. I know everyone keeps saying, Juventus, and he wasn't great at Bayern. Well, if it wasn't great at Bayern, why is there over 200,000 signatures for him to stay? And then also, you ever thought that it might not just have been the right fit for him? Like, there are players out there that just don't fit well into a system.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho is one of those. I think he does well in the other leagues because Premier League doesn't fit him. And I'm hoping that
I agree with that. And as much as I want to preface, I don't like Sancho's immaturity levels at all. But do I want him to succeed just because I love the club? Yes, I do, because I do see a lot of talent in him, though I don't think.
I know you do. Do you want to turn around for a split second?
But I don't think he's going to be able to bring it into this current squad this season. I'll put it that way. I mean, unless there's like amazing, 180,
Yeah.
So
I'm hoping, we're still in preseason technically. I don't class the Charity Shield as anything kind of important. It's a Charity Shield. I'm sure man said
preseason, so it's
I think it's just a preseason warm up.
Yeah.
Friday's the big test.
Real season games.
Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited. Like, Friday, we're back. The Premier League season is back. Can't wait to do a lot more of these shows. Do match analysis and stuff like that, which I'm really good at. So I'm really excited for kind of the season to start. I'm buzzing for the season to start. I had a great week in England. Catching up with people, watching a game for the first time in God knows how long in England. So it was great. I'm excited to see De Ligt and Mazraoui in a United shirt tomorrow morning. From what I'm hearing, it will be announced tomorrow. So as it says at the bottom, I know the medicals were both completed today, and I'm sure they're just filming, their intro videos, and that'll be out tomorrow. Of all the signings that we've done so far, what one is exciting you the most?
Well, it's funny because last time I was on the show, I was most excited for the hopeful De Ligt signing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at. Again, just because I love Harry Maguire and I love Victor Lindelof, but they are just not the guys to be center back. And I love Johnny Evans too. Those three guys should not have the weight of Manchester United's back line.
Yeah.
So to me, I was just like, please. And Varane too, injury prone Varane. It was like that was such a hole for me last season, those center backs. So, and Martinez was injured. So filling that position, and again, like combining that with the 6, making that like strong, like play out the back triangle that is pivotal to Ten Hag's system. I think it is a massive signing. Yeah.
Yeah. I know Manchester Mikey and Sanjeev are both saying Euro.
Euro will also play into that system. That
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
One of the kind of it is for me too. I'm excited for Zerski. I am excited for Zerski, but I think that the Ligt deal for me is the most exciting one. I think we'll finish top 4 this year. I do. I don't think we're going to challenge for the title, but if this team can gel well this year, we can get rid of some of the players. Some of the other players who you obviously know who I do not like. I think if those players we can move them on, either in January or next summer and bring in some other quality players. I think we can possibly challenge for the title next year because, as we know, the Manchester City it's been announced that the investigation will be, everything will be starting next month.
I did see that headline today. I think it was yesterday. So yeah, interesting to see what'll happen there. And we obviously have change of staffing and at Liverpool, which is I
love it. Was another player turned down Liverpool today?
Yeah, dude.
Another player was at 4 this season. They've turned down Liverpool this season. So
yeah, as Jeeves said, they saw Arne Slot and then turned away immediately. So.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So just excited. I know we're talking shit and the season hasn't started yet, but hey, I'm just really, really excited for Friday, man. And I will see you in the pub now that you're back from England. We'll do it right. We'll get the season started the right way.
Absolutely. A couple of comments here is Mark Cheeseman. Hey Mark, how you doing? I'll see you tomorrow, Cheesy. I'm excited to see Erik Ten Hag focus on coaching while Ineos cooks. That I'm excited for. And then Rajat is, how come Man City get Salvio and Man United can't buy a CBA centre back who's of Nice? The reason for that is because Salvio wasn't playing in the same competition. Man United and Nice are playing in the same competition this year. That's why we weren't allowed to sign Tehibo. It wasn't anything to do with the fact that he plays for Nice, who is a parent company of Man United, is because we're playing in the same competition this year. So that's the only reason we weren't allowed to sign him. Jay Long, midfield and back four need to be connected as opposing counter. Gave up so many goals last year on counters. Really hope they fix that. Right off the bat, I'm not, I'm excited for United season, but it's going to take some time. I think, we can beat the likes of Fulham on Friday, but we've also got this is a huge investment into Man United this season. What are we at? 4 players so far, possibly another 2 coming in, who are 100% going to be first team starters, possibly. So it's going to take time for these players to completely gel. I'm thinking around October, November time, United are going to start cooking. And so I've got patience up until then.
But yeah, but to Jordan's point, that's 100% true, because how many times did we score a goal last season and we're all vibes, and then we
gave it up.
We got countered on and scored on. It was like it was clockwork, because we were dismantled in that midfield to back four connection. And that's what, like you said, gel, like that's a great word for it. We really need that to be a cohesive system instead of individual players scrambling. That needs to be just a complete foundation in front of Onana. So yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see. Anything else you want to add? Today we're going to keep it short and sweet. We've been on for 45 minutes. But we'll be back on Thursday, and then tomorrow night we've got our chat with Cheese and Mikey tomorrow, and big old Casey. I'm gonna have to get you on there at some point. I'm gonna have to get you on the Tuesday night. It is
Would love
a late one though. It is 10 o'clock though.
It's all good. Yeah, no, would love to be on, man. Yeah, and just final comments from me is just thanks again for having me.
Absolutely.
Mike, look forward to chatting with you again soon on the channel. And Sean, we'll see you Friday at the pub for the first match of the season, man.
Yep. So just one of the other things is, when I'm not around or, Mikey's not around, we're going to be asking you to jump on more if that's definitely something you want to do.
All good.
We'd
love to.
Absolutely. Well, it was nice speaking to everyone. Nice red mood lighting you got there from Cheese. He's ready for the Friday. But all right, everybody. It was nice speaking to everyone, and we'll see you on Thursday at 8 p.m.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Cheers.